So before we jump into that stuff that I just explained, we need to go back and fix what I ran into last week, which was a problem with splitting the levels. So I tried it a few different ways, and for all of my rather limited knowledge and experience with Grasshopper, right now I have no idea why this method I found works and the one that I tried on Thursday didn't. Because theoretically, the way the data was working, it all should have worked the same. But what I did that was different here, remember what we did here was we took our vertical subdivisions, right, each of those 6 panels all the way up, and then we tried to create curves at all of the floor levels and then split that surface with those curves. So there must have been some microscopic misalignment with the curves and the surfaces or something like that. But what I wound up doing was going back a little bit and isolating the actual level. So think of it this way. Rather than getting each of my verticals and then trying to cut it all the way down the building, I actually grabbed the surface for each level. And then I split those. I made a box out of it for the height of that level, and then I split those. So what I wound up with was, and I'm going to show you this, but this is where we're headed, and it's not fully done because I have to adjust for the sky lobby. But this is the objective here, is that we can actually create a framing system in that area. So to get us there, what I need you to do is go into your definition and take this, the pre-cut floor plates. We're going to need that. And just pull it back here. And we're going to start over on this whole idea. Okay, so delete everything back to those input values. That's all of this.
Oh, let's see. Can you zoom in?
I was fixing all that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I could zoom in, but I mean, it's everything except for those right there. Hey, guys, this is reality. Sometimes this happens. When you're working in Grasshopper, you start going down a path and it's wrong and it's not working the way you need it to, so you go back to the point where you knew it was working and you rework it a different way. So anyway, delete all those.
I didn't even start on it.
I was fixing that.
Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start to understand a little bit more about how to break down geometry. So my first objective is to take these floor plates and I'm actually going to extrude them. Right? So each of those floor plates, let me turn them on so you can see. That's these right here. I'm actually going to extrude them up by the height of that floor. So the simple version is this. I go to, let's go to Surface, Freeform, Extrude. These screens are rather low today. All right, Surface, Freeform, Extrude. And then just grab each one of these. We can do this in the unit Z direction. We don't have to worry too much about normals or anything in this case. So we'll plug that in. And then we need to find the information for how tall these actually are. The simple version would be I just take a slider, set it to 14 feet, which I know most of the floors are, and push that in, and then that's what we get. And that's what I showed you in the example because I was just trying to get it to work first. But we need to get this one right here to be a different value. So I'm going to go back to my data and follow through and try to find where the floor heights were defined. And then I'm going to borrow those. So I happen to have them pre-cut floor plates. There we go. So 0, 14, and 10. And then we had an addition for the sky lobby height. So the key here is we need to basically grab this information and then replicate it a certain amount of times in order to get it to work for us. So this is creating the series for each package unit. So we'll just kind of grab that series and then we'll add it on a little bit down the road. So let's see, we've got, that's 174 for the next package series. So what we can do is go to params and grab number. So I'm just going to borrow this whole thing. So we've got the first package unit here under number. So I'm going to call this package 1. And then you can copy and paste that and make a wireless connector. Oh, you know what? That's not going to work. Because we need them to be individual values. Yeah, sorry. This is what we need. Get rid of that. Let's do, under set sequence, let's do repeat data. And then I'm going to grab, each one is 14 feet. So I'm going to plug 14 feet into the data input. And I need to repeat this as many times as I have floor levels. So that would be the count here. But remember that the number of values in the series creates a certain number of floors. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Because that's by steps, right? Let's get my param here. Nope, that's just 10. All right, so we can plug 10 in to L. And that gives us 10 14s. You guys can't really see that very well, sorry. 10 14s. And then we need to add on the value of 34. So that part gets a little bit weird. We're just going to merge the list of 14s and the 34. That should work. Yeah, all right. So let's go to set tree and merge. We're going to plug the 14s in first and the 34 in afterwards. Why doesn't that flatten them? And then put your panel at the end to just double check. Why did that go up top? That's weird. Hang on. Set. Just a moment. I hadn't gotten through this part. All right, guys. This one should work a little better for us. Yeah. So, guys, what I'm going to use is weave. And weave is going to allow me to bypass the fact that it was throwing the 34 number at the top of my list either way. I don't know why it was doing that. But plug in the data input to 0 and the 34 to 1. And then we just need to define where that's going to go. So when the pattern says 0 and 1, we have what we wind up with is the first item of the first list and the second item of the second list. But we just need to define a particular set and say that we're going to grab the first item of the first list, and then we're going to need to do, I want to do this manually first, and then let's do 0, and we're going to have to say, let's see, 0 and then 1. We could automate this, but just put 14 zeros for now, or 10 zeros for now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then add a 1 at the end. Should put the 34 at the end.
You said 14 ones.
No, sorry, 10 zeros.
10 zeros.
And then a 1 at the end.
Oh.
This is, of course, assuming you used exactly the same values as me.
Yes.
Okay? If you don't have 10 here, then put in that many zeros, whatever you have there.
The 34 that you have,
This one.
what is that for? What's that?
So the 14 is the typical floor-to-floor height. The 34 is the additional floor-to-floor height for the sky lobbies. in between my packages. Okay? Now, I do want to also just make a note about this panel right here. I'm going to call this out as manual and then revise. And there's a reason I'm doing that. It's because I want to go back to this at some point and make sure that I make that a smart panel. But for now, I'm troubleshooting, so I'll leave it at that.
I have my glasses on, but manual revise.
Yes.
Yep. Let me spread this out a little bit so you can really see what's going on. Okay. Is that a little bit more clear for you? All right. I'm going to stop this video, let you guys get caught up on this, and then we'll plug it in and we'll go forward.